Are you filming my boobs? That's gonna be the intro.
What have you got if you haven't got love?
Hello tipsters and tricksters, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Vintage Tips and Tricks video. Today's video is going to be an Audrey Hepburn recipe video. I have previously done a pasta recipe by Audrey Hepburn that you guys really liked. It was quite a while ago, but I will link it up above. Today we are going to do Tomates Farcies or stuffed tomatoes. It is from this recipe book here, which is written by Audrey's son about Audrey's home life and her love for cooking and food. And I just loved the book and thought it was really warm-hearted and really reflective of Audrey's kind of enjoyment of life out of the limelight and what kind of a normal, humble and quiet lifestyle person she was. So for this recipe, obviously it is a stuffed tomato recipe. We're gonna start with tomatoes, but we're also cooking it with potatoes in the oven, not inside the tomatoes, but to accompany it. We're using fresh parsley and fresh basil, a little bit of garlic, salt and pepper, of course, and olive oil and rice. So it is a very simple recipe, which tends to be the case for a lot of Audrey's recipes. She liked very simple food with really good quality ingredients. So I've tried to get the best that I can get here in Malta. So let's get started on actually putting the recipe together. I have wedged the potatoes. I've got the rice cooking. It's gonna be just al dente. But before we go any further, a quick word from today's video sponsor. A big thank you to today's sponsor, who are ShareAcart. I love the concept of this company because what they are is a browser extension that allows you to share your shopping lists and your cart with other people. So for example, birthday lists, wish lists, Christmas lists, all ready to go in the retailers that you love, and you can just share them with your friends and family so they're ready to purchase. What I especially love about them is that it's not just big retailers that we're really familiar with. Of course, you can do things like share an Amazon list, but I personally went and tried it on eBay and Etsy, and voila, it works. If your retailer isn't available, you can also suggest retailers for future updates as well. It is as simple as adding your extension to your favorite browser, going to the websites that you like to shop on and adding items to the cart. At the end, you go up to the extension, click the little button and share your cart. So a big thank you to ShareAcart for sponsoring today's video. If you're interested in checking out the extension, it is linked down below. I've also popped my cart link down below as well. Let's get back to the video. Okay, so I've chopped up the herbs and the garlic ready to go. Now what I want to do is cut up the tomatoes. Basically, I'm going to cut the caps off, scoop out the inside and prepare them to go in the oven. So there's a little bit of involvement here. I'll show you what I do.
You want to be cutting off the tops of the tomatoes to reserve later. You'll be replacing them on the top once you've stuffed the tomatoes, and make sure that you reserve the pulp from the inside as well, which you'll be mixing with the rest of the ingredients to make the stuffing.
This part is kind of tricky without completely destroying the tomato or going all the way through, so I'm being really careful to try and get the pulp out, and hopefully I don't wreck it because I only have 4 tomatoes, which is what the recipe calls for, so. So I've taken the rice off the boil now that it is al dente, so it has got a little bit of bite to it, and I've rinsed it with cold water to let it drain so it doesn't cook any further, so I'm going to pop that aside. Now I'm going to salt the tomatoes. So we want to try and get some of the juice out of them or the water out of them. So we're just doing a little bit of salt on the inside, and I'm going to turn them upside down on the paper to let them drain. Okay, so while we are waiting for the tomatoes to drain, let's set the oven to 200 degrees. So while the oven is heating up, let's get this mixture to go inside the tomatoes, so the farci, all put together. So I'm gonna put in the herbs, all of our lovely fresh herbs. I have actually put in extra because it only called for 2 teaspoons of each, and I like flavor, so sorry Audrey, I'm adding extra. I'm gonna put our garlic in as well. We're going to add some salt and pepper as well. Oops, there we go. I'm a pro, guys. I'm making a mess over here. It's home cooking, right guys, so it doesn't matter. This is the worst pepper grinder ever.
This one is shit.
Right. A couple of tablespoons of olive oil. Be careful not to overdo it. And And then we add the rice. Let's cut away to me doing this in a bigger bowl. Preparation. I have a more appropriate size bowl. Let's pop our rice in and mix it all together. It's looking like the tomatoes drained a little bit, so that's a good sign. I'm supposed to just pop the rice inside, like so. I guess it's going to puff up the rice or like swell up, so I won't fill it too much. Maybe just like that, because we've got to put the little cap on as well. So it'll leave space for that. I have to see if I can match my caps to my tomatoes. I might just stuff them first, I think. Okay, let's try and match these tops up to these tomatoes. I know at least this one, being the wonkiest tomato, goes here. We're good for one for one. This one maybe, it's like a jigsaw puzzle. And lucky last, to leave that. Yay! Sprinkle the potatoes around, make sure they're not stuck together. And now we're going to sprinkle everything with some olive oil. Audrey had the luxury of being very skinny, and she was apparently quite malnourished as a child because of the war and inability to get hold of food, so she struggled all her life to put weight on and just douse everything in olive oil and stay skinny. I'm still gonna douse everything in olive oil, but it has more of an after effect on me. I'm going to put some salt, not on the tomatoes because it already has them on the inside, but salt and pepper on the potatoes because I just know with just olive oil it's going to be a little bit bland. Okay guys, so we're ready to put it in the oven. It says to cook it for around about an hour, so I have plenty of time. It is 200 degrees though, so that seems extremely high for an hour. I'm gonna double check that because maybe I read the recipe wrong. But let's stick it in and we'll see how we go. I checked the recipe and it does say 200 degrees, but I'm figuring that it's probably because the tomatoes are quite wet. So unlike a lot of other recipes that I cook at 200 degrees, it shouldn't dry out too much, but I guess I'll just keep an eye on it.
This was the 25-minute mark. Obviously, the tomatoes and the potatoes are very cooked, so I drastically reduced the temperature of the oven. While I was waiting, of course, I needed a glass of wine. I think Audrey would approve.
Okay guys, so it is ready. The 200 degrees was too hot because I realized obviously Audrey's oven would have been a normal oven and not a fan oven. So it was too hot, but I did realize soon enough and I turned it down. So hopefully it's cooked to the right amount. It's a little bit, you know, crispy, but it will be okay. So let's get it out of the oven. Steamy. Okay guys, moment of truth. Let's see how this tastes. Let's start with a potato because I'm sure they taste fine. Yes, nice. They're slightly like, the oven was hot and so it made the outside crispy, but they also cooked in the juices of the tomatoes, so they have a bit of flavor to them, which is really nice. Now I'm going to try one of the actual tomatoes. Get a little bit of both, some outside and some actual stuffing. Oh, it's really nice actually. We were eating the stuffing while we were waiting, the uncooked stuffing or the al dente rice, and it was really good, so I'm not surprised. So I definitely would recommend the recipe. You could probably add a little bit more seasoning to the inside, but it depends on your personal taste, but definitely a winner. Well done, Audrey. I'm gonna enjoy a little bit of wine, local Valletta wine with my meal. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, don't forget to give a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought of the video. That always really helps me out and supports my channel. Thank you once again, of course, to ShareACart for sponsoring today's video. Without sponsors like ShareACart, I wouldn't be able to spend as much time and energy on the videos that I do. So thank you very much. If you want to check out the extension, it is linked down below. I, of course, have a Patreon that you guys can check out with extra content. We have curated vintage finds. We have a monthly movie club where we watch an old Hollywood film and then have a video chat to discuss, and plenty more perks. Of course, you can come and follow my Instagram as well if you want to. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video. Bye.